Welcome back, everyone. It is the Bourbon Judge. What's going on, folks? What's going on? Let's see who we have in the comments tonight. Let's take a quick peek. We have, I see, is it Cam and Whiskey? What's going on, Cam and Whiskey? I see Jared. Jared, how are you? Tennis. Ooh, is that Tennis Star? I think it is. Yeah, I believe so. Cheers, by the way. I love some Penelope myself as well, so can't go wrong with a little bit of good Penelope. Absolutely. Tennis Gator. Sorry, Tennis Gator. Messed up the name there a little bit. That's awesome. Cheers, Tennis Gator. Good to see you, my friend. Micah. What's going on, Micah? Long time no see, man. What's going on? John Daly. What's going on, JD? Not the golfer, as we always say. Our good friend John Daly, the whiskey drinker. Well, John Daly, the golfer, is a whiskey drinker too. So we have a couple of those.
Like he likes a lot of whiskey.
He likes a lot of whiskey, a lot of whiskey. So we have a special guest on tonight. We have, what's going on, Rob Sullivan? How are you, buddy? Good to see you, Rob. 21090's in the house. What's going on? 21090. What a great channel, by the way, down in Baltimore. One of our good friends, Andy and Todd. What's going on, gentlemen? Cool. So we are here today. We have a special guest, not me, but this special guest over here, this lovely gentleman over here. This is Gene Isaacs from the Delaware Bourbon Society. So welcome, Gene.
Thank you, Marcus. I'm really happy to be here. I appreciate you, and it's an honor to be here. You with the judge.
Oh, I appreciate that.
For sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So Gene, if you haven't noticed, has like the coolest voice. I think my wife, which is kind of funny to say, she is probably the happiest person whenever Gene from the DBS is coming over. Not because of whiskey, because Gene, if you notice, has like the coolest voice. I always call him the radio or DJ Gene because he's like that, such a cool, calming voice.
I've been called a lot of things, including that, but yeah, my voice, I guess, it stands out. It's been with me almost all my life, right? Yeah. So I really don't notice it.
You don't even notice it?
Not really.
So cool. Really. It's like that Barry White effect. Gene has that Barry White effect.
I've heard that for sure.
Love it. Yeah. So this is our first collaboration that we did as an organization. So we have obviously my patron group for the Bourbon Judge and all of our wonderful people. And this is the first pick that we did actually with the Delaware Bourbon Society. So really excited, Gene, that this came to fruition. I know we picked this was a while ago, right? Back in, was it February, March? I'm trying to look at the pictures now.
I think February, probably.
February, March, right? Yeah, and we had some issues with the barrels where they were found and they lost them and they found them again.
Very unusual. I thought very unusual, but apparently not. It happens this way. I guess with thousands and thousands of barrels, that's going to happen from time to time.
So true. Yeah. Indeed. So 6 months later, after picking the whiskey is finally here, which is awesome.
I'm so excited because I remember these bottles being the best of the best.
Yep.
I've been on a bunch of these picks, and what I found is that the very first taste that they give you generally is not going to be that barrel.
Typically
That's not going to be the one. And
correct.
Certainly that was the case here. It held true here.
Indeed.
But as we move forward through the different tastings, I just found that wow, it just got better and better. I truly believe we came out with a great one. I literally forget what they tasted like because
it's been a while. I mean, it's been half a year.
That's why I'm so excited to get on top of it tonight.
Same here. So first and foremost, so we picked 2 different barrels, and we did they're a quarter barrel each. So we have about 120 bottles, 60 of the Penelope Architect, which, by the way, on the back of the bottle, you'll see that we selected the complex stave, right? So the complex stave, that's for the Penelope Architect.
Right.
And we have our lovely, on the front here, the Delaware Bourbon Society and the Bourbon Judge. And on that one there, Gene, what do we have?
This is the toasted barrel, and this is going to be a really a crowd favorite, I believe.
Yeah.
Architect, we already know. It's
correct.
Outstanding. It's just so well known. The blue label just stands out.
Indeed.
But this toasted is probably something that a lot of people are going to want for sure.
Exactly.
I think this might be close to what the Architect's going to be in terms of flavor.
Mm-hmm.
So people are going to want this as well. And again, it has, of course, the Bourbon Judge and the Delaware Bourbon Society together right there on the label. This is something to be proud of.
It is.
I think
really
that once you taste it, I think you'll get an idea of our palates.
Correct.
And our palates do match pretty well.
They do.
They match pretty well.
They really do.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy that very much.
Indeed. And that one's cast strength. That one comes in. What's the proof on that one, Gene?
Just
have that there. I think it's 112.
112.
112.
Yep.
All right, cool, perfect. So 112. So we got 112 proof on that one,
along with a heavy char.
Along with a heavy char. And we have 110 proof on the Architect. All right, so this is good. So before we dive into these, let's go ahead and which one do you want to pop first?
Let's go with the Architect.
Oh, the Architect. I like it. So we had at our pick, we had a couple people, which is awesome. We always try to bring, whenever I do a barrel pick, as you know, my goal is always to make sure I try to bring at least a few patrons with me if it's a live pick. If it's virtual, it kind of depends on how many kits that we get from a shipping perspective from the different distilleries. But from an in-person pick, if I'm there, I need to bring at least 1 or 2 patrons. And in this case, we had you. Obviously,
right.
So Gene is a patron as well as who he also runs the Delaware Bourbon Society, which is a fantastic organization. I think the best online organization out there from a whiskey group perspective. But we had you, myself, we had our buddy Chris Bruno, we had John Daly, not the golfer, but John Daly, who's in the comments right there. We had JMB, right? Our good buddy JMB, and we also had somebody from the
Howard Miller representing Delaware Bourbon Society.
Howard Miller representing the Delaware Bourbon Society. So that was a good group. We had a blast.
Oh, absolutely,
a blast.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna pour your glass first, Gene, and we're gonna use for the first pour. We're gonna use the Delaware Bourbon Society glass. Which, by the way, these glasses are nice. You have good taste, sir.
And they last. I was concerned with how long the logo would last on these.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any kind of indication that they've gone away.
Not at
Anybody
all.
in the Delaware Bourbon Society that has these, let me know if you've seen that, and I'll replace it. But I don't think you have. And they get used all the time.
All the time. I use these glasses literally, and I'm not joking, probably in almost like every other episode. So when I say they get used a lot. So, all right. Complex Stave. Whew, man. This was a fun one.
I remember
the color.
this.
Nice and dark. Oh, man. This is really nice on the nose. Even after the first crack. Really, really nice. Oh, man. I remember while we were there, I remember John Daly being on one side and Chris Bruno was, I think, next to him. And they were kind of, you guys were going back. John Daly and Chris Bruno were going back and forth between like which ones they liked. I think I was kind of split. I was a split decision. I kind of liked them both almost equal, but we landed on this one. I think it was the overall general consensus of like the one that we love the most.
I think so. No question about it. And that's the key thing with these picks is that not all palates are alike, but if you can come to a general consensus, generally, if you do a first, second, and third, the bottle that's chosen is at least the person's second choice.
So true,
right?
So true.
With the majority being, liking it the most. So I like that. I like the idea of doing it that type of way.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. And it is nice too, in my opinion. Like, so whenever anyone's out there, whenever you do a barrel pick, and it's so much fun to do a barrel pick, but whenever you do a barrel pick, it is nice having different palates, different people's different opinions, right? Because some people might prefer maybe like a bourbon that has like more high rye in the mash bill, or they might just be, someone that loves, ryes, in general. So it's nice to kind of have people with different palates,
And Judge, what I like about what we did was we made sure that I think there were a couple of different picks that we were settling on.
Correct.
But what we ended up settling on is something that would be good for the masses versus,
correct.
Just
for you or I.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, or Chris or John and so forth.
Yep.
And JB. Good point. Well, gee, I don't know. This is this nose is just amazing. It's like it's drawing me in. And it's funny. So I had a small sip of an older bottle Penelope Architect earlier today, right at 5:00. I had to just kind of set my palate, set it up for the Penelope Architect. Sure. So the nose is amazing. I mean,
well, the DNA I find obviously is the same on all of them.
It is,
right?
Yes.
It's the little things that separate it and take it apart.
Correct.
And I think that, and I have 2 at home myself.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Architect.
Okay.
I have none of the toasters, but I have 2 of the Architect.
Okay.
Tried them both. Okay. Over the last couple of days,
just like me.
And I love them.
Yeah.
But something tells me that this is going to be set apart. And I'll be able to figure it out once I taste it again. I'll know what sets it apart from the other 2.
I hear you. Oh man, I love that cinnamon in there. Cinnamon, a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of vanilla. Anything else stand out to you?
This is, in my opinion, this is a chocolate covered cinnamon bun.
Yeah,
with drizzled vanilla.
I like that. That's a great description. See, this guy here, boy. Oh man. Well, Gene, cheers to you and the Delaware Bourbon Society. Cheers to all of our friends out there, our subscribers, our patrons. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Mm. Oh, wow. That was good.
So good.
That was really, really, really good. Oh, my goodness. Wow. We definitely do pick some good barrels, don't we? Goodness gracious.
Honestly, I really was speechless when I tasted that. It brought back a rush of what we had then. I left there with a smile.
Yes.
And the first time I tasted this tonight, and I'm getting a little choked up here because it just such a great taste.
It does.
Right?
It's so nice.
It's mouth-filling.
It is.
The reason for the choking up a little bit is simply because the finish is so long.
It is. It's powerful.
It's still there.
It's still there. That is actually, so I'm thinking back like when we were all there, and I can remember like it was like yesterday, as I said, where John was at, and the guy from the DBS, your friend that was there with us. I remember sipping this one, and when I had this one, I was thinking to myself, this tastes like it's like 100 and almost like a 25 proof. It's so bold and vibrant.
Yes.
That's the reason I love this one, right?
Proof so often brings out the flavor, not all the time.
Not all the time.
So often brings out the flavor.
Sure.
And this really feels like it's proof packed.
It is.
Right?
It
drinks like very nicely.
It does. It drinks way more than 110 proof. Oh man, this is going to cause me to get in some trouble, Gene. This is going to cause me to get into some trouble. Oh. Oh man. So see what our good friend Andrew says. Andrew, yep, I hear you, Andrew. Andrew says he loves Penelope. Looking forward to these, absolutely. Oh, you tried the toasted rye? Okay, last week. Very nice. All right, that's cool. I have not tried the toasted rye yet. That came out.
I haven't had it yet either.
No. I haven't. That's good stuff. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate that one. That's definitely good to know. I need to try that toasted rye myself as well. Rob Laid Back is in the house. What's going on, Rob? Cheers, fellow patron, cigar lover like myself. Rob, this will go very well. This is, by the way, whenever I'm sipping whiskey, I'm sipping it and thinking of different things.
Right.
And I'm thinking from a cigar lover's perspective, Rob, this is going to be your jam, my friend. Trust me. I guarantee it. Oh, man. Woo, this is nice. Really nice.
Now, from what I know, Penelope tends to put out a solid bottle, obviously, but they're coming in. It tastes older than its age.
It does. It does.
They're somewhere in the area of 4 to 6 years, 4 to 5
Correct.
years, somewhere like that.
Yep.
You can tell sometimes that, there is a bit of a grain that you taste, but
sure,
that's not, in a good way.
A good way, absolutely.
It certainly is, and you do get a taste of that here, but overall, just cinnamon, sweet, and vanilla, chocolate. Oh my gosh, it's nice. Very, very, very nice. Tasty. Brings back memories.
I do think that I'm sure, obviously, with the MGP acquisition, they're probably going to continue to have like higher and higher age statements too, right?
I can't see it getting better and better. Yeah. No question about it.
Indeed. Oh man,
that happened this year too, I believe, right?
It did. Yeah, that happened.
The acquisition.
Yeah, a few months ago, which is insane. Oh man, this is so nice. Oh. I'll tell you. So this, by the way, both of these bottles, I should say, will be available to DBS and our patron group, effective in about 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, just about
10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
the links will be in the group.
Yeah,
it's a scheduled post, so it'll pop up at some point around 9:05, even if we're still here.
Yep,
and absolutely. Feel free to jump on there.
Yeah, I can't see this one lasting too long because this is a heavy hitter right here. Oh my gosh, I'm still just like. I'm in the zone. I can't even get over that one. I remember though, both of them being like equally fantastic, but in different ways.
Well, Marcus, that's the reason why we ended up with 2 barrels.
It is.
We went there for 1 barrel, ended up with 2.
Ended with 2. We did indeed. Yeah, it's a good problem to have. It's definitely a good problem to have for sure. We have our good friend Nate Hicks is joining. What's going on, Nate Hicks? Absolutely, Nate. I think you're gonna love. Both of these, Nate. I know you and I have very similar palates as well, so I think you're gonna love this one, Nate. Good to see you online, my friend. Oh man. All right, Gene. I guess we need to move on.
I think so.
I don't want to move on because I love this one so much, but
it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere, right? Yeah. It's so true. So true.
So I've already cracked this one, Marcus.
All right. Let's get into the. So this is the toasted barrel strength. coming in at 112 proof. And it's I think this is char number 4, a barrel char number 4, I believe it is. Thank you, sir. Let me cleanse the palate here real quick. Oh, that's so rich. That is such a almost like a dessert slash just experience. That last one, that architect, that was really, really good.
Absolutely.
Oh boy. I am loving that bottle. All right.
I'm excited again.
Excited again?
For the second bottle.
Okay. I remember everyone kind of had, different ones they preferred more. Like some people prefer the Architect over the Toasted. Some people, when we did the pick, preferred the Toasted over the Architect. So it was like, we might as well go with both.
And that's what happened.
That's what happened.
No one left unhappy that day.
Yeah, no one left, not at all.
For more reasons than one. We had a few tastes that day, too.
We did. We sure did, Gene. Indeed. All right, so this one has the age on it. So this one's a flat 5 years. I think it was 5.5, though. I think it's 5.5, but I mean, they put obviously just the lowest, the lowest of 5. Okay, that's cool. Very nice. All right. Just wanted to see that one real quick again. Oh, man. This should be nice. Woo.
Oh, man.
What's going on, Ben Davis? Good friend Ben Davis on the line. Court, how are you, Court? Cheers to you too, my friend. Of course, one of our longtime patrons, subscribers, good friend of the channel. Good to see you, Court.
How are you, Court?
Oh, man. This is nice, too. Oh, boy.
Now, I will say, this nose doesn't jump out as much as the Architect.
Yeah, the Architect was bold.
Yeah, I didn't expect that, but
bold, big time. This one has like hidden fruit almost in the background, which is interesting too. I get almost like a kind of like a pear apple note all the way in the far back.
Yep, I agree.
It's kind of just lingering around. Soft, gentle notes of like caramel, smidge, maybe even a smidge of honey there as well. But
honey is definitely in there, and that apple note I'm getting is not a bitten in the apple. It's not an apple pie type of apple. I think it's walk through the grocery store, go by the
correct
stand.
Yep, the produce stand, and you
get this waft of apple.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I almost get like a which is probably one of my favorite apples when I do eat my fruit. Is like a Granny Smith kind of a note to it.
Okay.
Oh, man, it's nice though. I would agree. The nose on the Architect is definitely nicer, but it's sweeter, is more bold. But this is a little bit more different, a little bit more. It's actually a little bit softer on the nose.
It is
compared to the Architect. But that's the French oak staves to this, so that's going to do that as well, right?
I think it makes it more bold.
No
question about it.
Indeed.
I get a little waffle here too,
and
not the syrup part, just the actual waffle.
The waffle itself. Yeah, I'm with you. Oh, that is nice. Trouble again. All right, Gene. Cheers, everyone out there. Gene, cheers to you, sir.
Cheers.
Oh, wow. That's the reason why. That's why we picked that one now. Oh, wow. But that's so good in so many different ways. Oh, man. Gene, this is trouble. This is trouble.
This is dessert. Dessert in a cup.
That, folks, is the perfect type of a toasted bourbon that you can get, especially because we have the heavy char on this one too. It's sweet and it is big time spicy.
Exactly. What I like about it is it's sweet, but it's not overly so.
No, right? Not overly. No,
it gets to that spot and it just kind of levels out for you, and then all of a sudden the spices kick in.
It does.
Not as long of a finish as the Architect, but it's still there too.
It's still there, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. It's almost like an apple tart, almost in a way, right? From a dessert standpoint, right? You have that apple, you have that kind of like a dough kind of a note to it,
exactly
right? It's like an apple tart.
Yep.
It's sweet, but it's spicy also at the same time. Oh man.
And the cinnamon is there.
And the cinnamon is there as well. Ben, much appreciation. Ben, I appreciate you, sir. Ben's been watching the channel for a long time as well. We have such a great, that's one thing I love about both our respective groups, right? The Whiskey Society as a whole. So Delaware Bourbon Society, the judge, and then just whiskey in general, like the whiskey community, such great people. So,
gentlemen and gentle ladies.
Gentlemen and gentle ladies. Yeah. Exactly.
Without question.
So true. Absolutely. For sure. So Ben, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate you. Oh man.
Yeah.
We will definitely keep these coming, Ben. I promise, for sure. Definitely will. Oh man, that is so nice. Wow. I'm almost torn which one I like more. I like them in different ways. You have a preference?
They're two different, no question about it. Like I said before, the DNA is the same, but the overall taste and finish different, and different in a way that you'll not know. I think you'll not know which one to go to first.
I would agree with you, right? Because they're different
every time. Yeah, every time to the bar, every time to your area you have something, your bottles. I'm not sure you're going to know which one to grab first.
I know. I'm torn also. Right now, I'm thinking, should I get another pour of the toasted? Or do I want to go back to the architect? But I'm going to first go back to some H2O first. So by now, folks, these are live up to our respective groups, our DBS group, as well as to our patron group as well. This is such a fun pick, right? This is one where I loved, collaborating with you, the Delaware Bourbon Society, bringing our patrons along as well. I know we have a lot of other picks scheduled for the judge community. We have coming up, just kind of throw that out there. We have ASWs coming up. That will probably be available in the next probably 2 weeks.
Okay.
We have Free Ranch, which should be available in a couple of weeks. That's a good one too. My brain, I'm getting old, so I'm forgetting all the other ones.
1792, I believe.
Oh yeah, 1792. Wild Turkey as well.
And that 1792 is a foolproof, correct?
Yes, foolproof. Yeah.
And we don't see foolproof on the shelves very much anymore. So that's a pick I'm absolutely looking forward to.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. Definitely should be a fun one. And there's a whole bunch of other ones also already queued up, and we'll be getting out there. But more important than just the judge barrel picks coming up, it's time to get another DBS judge pick going on.
Well, we're going to work it out. There's no question about it. We're talking about it. We've asked each other which pick is next.
Yeah.
If you will, in comments, if you'll just mention to us, what pick do you think we should do as a collabo for the next pick? That would help out a lot. Believe me, it's cheating like that for us helps out.
It does. No, it does. Seriously, absolutely. I love that. Thanks, Tennis Gator. We appreciate that. Thanks for ordering some of the bottles. Thank you so much. And Cord as well. Sorry. So let us know what in the comments, to Gene's point, what are some of the picks out there, different brands, but then also sub brands, right? Like you and Penelope, of course, they have multiple different ones. Let us know what future picks you think that we should try to focus on as a collaboration kind of going forward. I know there are some that come to mind for me, but I want to see what people think out there. I want to see what everyone thinks.
Delaware Bourbon Society, we have a couple that we're in negotiations with now. We're talking about them now. I don't want to really disclose them now. That maybe they don't come through, but for sure we want to keep this going and make sure that we're bringing the best bottles, the best barrels to the judge, to the group, and then also to the Delaware Bourbon Society.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, there is a lot of love for 13th Colony. That was 3. Is that 3 in a row? 13th Colony? Yeah, it was. Oh, that is too funny. Nate Hicks, I gotcha. Oh, man, that is too funny. So Nate Hicks said 13th Colony. Ash said 13th Colony. I got you, Ash. Ron Edwards, our good friend Ron, down in Georgia as well. Ron said 13th Colony also. I hear you, Ron.
Well, if Ron's in Georgia, he has a little connection for us, I would imagine.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Hey, Ron. I mean, seriously. Ron, so funny story. Ron sent me a picture the other day. He had just went to 13th Colony to the distillery. He stopped by. I think they had just closed, but he's close enough where he can make that little, trip down. So, Ron, you're a lucky man. You're a lucky man, Ron.
Ron, we're friends now.
Indeed, we are definitely big friends for sure. Definitely big friends. Definitely.
I just wanted to mention too that you'll find that there is shipping involved with this, right? But if you get both bottles, and you use, what is it again? The code.
The code. So it's called Time Machine.
If you use Time Machine
on Shared Pour,
on Shared Pour, what you'll find is that you'll get a bit of a discount, and then also the hit isn't as big on. None of us like paying shipping, of course, right? Sure. But that is part of what goes on.
Correct.
But listen, when you're in Delaware, I don't mind paying a bit of shipping simply because I can't get certain bottles here without the shipping.
So true.
Yeah.
Agree.
So, make sure you use one more time the
Time Machine. The code Time Machine. When you go on SharePour to buy the bottles, definitely make sure you use the code Time Machine at checkout so you get the savings at for the shipping perspective.
Absolutely.
Save a few bucks.
Absolutely.
So Kyle said that he's never seen a 1790 foolproof. That's good to know. We should also look at Journeyman and Whiskey Acres. So Journeyman, I believe, out of Michigan, and Whiskey Acres out of Illinois. So those are two brands that I know about them.
Mm-hmm.
Had some samples, good whiskey.
Okay.
I think that potentially could be ones that we could add to the list.
What I like about what Kyle's doing is there's that many of these smaller producers, they're open to groups coming in and doing these barrel picks, and the line isn't as long.
That's so true.
When you're talking about 13 Colony, they have really created a following, and so the line is going to be a bit long. And trying to get in there, we may be a year or 2 or 3 years out.
Big time.
I agree with the pick, no question about it. There is a time that you'll pay trying to get into these.
Absolutely,
so it's almost reaching the levels of maybe a Stag Junior pick.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, 13th Colony is almost like a Stag Junior this day and age. It truly is. So I mean, 13th Colony is like a whole nother level, and I know they're doing some good stuff, and their whiskey flies off like it's like, I mean, within a second. Seriously, so that's a tough one.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. I think Rob Sullivan says, "Oh, Rob, that's a good point." Okay, so Jack Daniels, Jack Daniels is definitely one that I know a lot of people in the community love.
Absolutely, one of my favorite picks, no question about it.
And Old Elk, funny enough. So, Gene, I think you have some experience with Old Elk.
We went out to Colorado about a year and a half ago and did a pick for Pico's. Pico's Liquors in Wilmington, and what a great pick that ended up being. We sold out they sold out, I should say, 3/4 of the barrel within a very short time.
Wow.
The rest of it lingered just a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
But that 3/4 of a barrel, it saw people coming back for a second and third bottle.
Absolutely.
We were very, very happy, very pleased with that pick, and
indeed
a tremendous trip out in Colorado.
Yeah, Gene picked, as he was pointing out, a fantastic barrel pick out at Old Elk, and I would say, I mean, the whiskey was amazing. I had a couple bottles myself. You did a great job in picking that one. I wish I could have gotten out there. That would have been a fun experience, just for the DBS by itself, Delaware Bourbon Society, because that was a really good whiskey.
Not for having an invite. I invited you.
You did. You sure did.
You invited to every pick I could.
So true. So true. Scout's honor. He did. He really did. Indeed. So John Daly's talking about Ben Holiday. So that's an interesting one.
Ooh,
so Ben Holiday. I just had a sample of that the last week. Actually, a good friend, one of our subscribers, sent me a sample of it, and I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed that one. That was very unique.
I haven't had a chance to try that yet, taste that yet, but it's really, really creating a tremendous buzz.
It is
in the bourbon community.
Craft distilleries they are creating a major buzz.
They really are.
So why do you think why? What's the whole rub of why craft distilleries are now just feeling a lot of love from fellow whiskey lovers such as myself, you, and everyone else out there? Why do you think that is?
In one word?
What?
Well, 2 words.
Okay.
Secondary market. All right. All the Buffalo Trace is sky high. You can't find it. And then when you go to the secondary market, it's
so true.
Extremely expensive.
Yep.
So what the message is there is that there are other great bourbons and great whiskeys out there to be had. And you guys seem to be on top of it. Your crew seems to be out there and taking advantage of these different craft distillers, and when you do that, you'll find you're in the sub 100 range. In many cases, maybe just over 100 some of the older more aged type whiskeys.
So true.
And you'll find that you will be super pleased with these folks. Not all of them are hitters, but without question, there's a tremendous amount of bangers without having to pay the $200, $300, $400
for a bottle
being asked for.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
That would be my number one reason why
it's out there.
They're able to have a market and kind of create a niche for themselves.
Agreed. Yeah, and Rob, definitely good point regarding the Ben Holiday cast strength. I think that would be really good. I do agree with you, Rob. I totally agree with you. I only had the bottled and bond that they primarily offer like in the stores and so forth, but I do realize at the distillery, and if you do a single barrel, of course, obviously it's always cast strength. So that would be very interesting. I think craft distilleries they're in a unique position. 2 things. I think number one, you hit the nail on the head. The fact that so many Buffalo Trace, Heaven Hill bottles, I mean, there might be one or two that hits the store. Well, there are millions of people that love bourbon, but yet, every store might get one bottle, right? Max.
That's right.
Sometimes one or two.
Yep.
So if you're not that one or two person, which, I mean, even for myself, I don't always get those bottles either. What I love about craft distilleries is the fact that, to your point, the second item is they're also producing fantastic quality whiskey.
Well, yeah. If in fact they get,
that's all I drink now, honestly. Truly.
If they can get you to taste.
Yeah,
a sample, or if you can grab a bottle just on a whim, and you open that up, you pour it into your glass, and you drink that. Oh man, without question, you are impressed, and you pass the word.
Yeah,
you spread the word.
You do, you really do. Absolutely. What's going on, Whiskey Guy? How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Thanks for joining tonight. Thank you for joining.
I love that name, Whiskey Guy.
I know there's definitely some really cool names out there for sure. I know people were joking around on my last episode because I said, I think I put it out there that, 5 brands, I think, and 3 of them were ryes. So people were saying, Judge, you should change your name to the Rye Judge.
I saw that. Yeah.
No, I'm going to stick with bourbon. I mean, no, I do love rye. Don't get me wrong. And I love rye probably more than anybody else at this point.
I think that's what happens to us, is that we go through these phases. Bourbon is certainly our standard, and that's what we hang our hat on.
Yeah.
But we switch out to an American whiskey. We switch out to ryes and things of that nature. If you don't, I think certainly, I mean, it'll never be boring drinking bourbon, but one thing's for sure, you can expand your horizons.
You sure can.
By finding other ones that kind of match your palate.
Totally agree with you, Gene. I think, and that's a good point regarding kind of expanding outside of just a bourbon or rye to, like your point, American whiskey. I just recently, through my good friends over at the Bourbon Van, they had me expand my palate even to American single malts, Irish whiskey. I did a little bit of Scotch as well. Scotch, I was still on the border on Scotch, but Irish whiskey, sign me up. I did look for, by the way, that Redbreast 12-year. I couldn't find. I only found I think it was like the 100 proof. I couldn't find the cask strength version.
I believe I might have it. I'll have to give you a sample.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Until you find it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just to hold me over, Gene. But yeah, that and American single malts, like the Stranahan's, that was really good whiskey.
Okay, yeah.
That was good whiskey. I was surprised. I had no clue.
They are obvious when you see them on the shelf. Stranahan's, you see that strap that's coming diagonally across.
Correct.
And it's it stands out very much like the Penelope Blue label. It just, what it is as soon as you see it. You know it exactly as soon as you see it.
You really do. That's so true. So true. Well, I had to go back to the toasted because I'm so torn. I mean, I like them, but in so many different ways for different reasons. This is a tough one, boy.
What's funny is that just a few minutes ago, I went back to the Architect.
Okay.
And every time I go to a different glass, I think that, hey, that's the one.
Yeah. You're like, that's better. That's it. This is it. I hear you. This is it. Oh, man. What else we got in comments in terms of different picks that we need to do? So Rob Sullivan, this is a good one. All right, Rob, this is good. This is actually good feedback, and this could be one with the Delaware Bourbon Society too. Actually, a Peerless pick. That's a good one. What do you think about Peerless as a brand? I think
Peerless. I'm new to Peerless. To be honest with you, I'm not unfamiliar with Peerless. But the Double Oak, I have now a store pick and also a shelf Double Oak on that. Okay. And oh my gosh,
good.
Yeah, I mean, this is something I've got to kind of venture into a little bit more.
Okay.
One of the things that kind of I guess pushed me away from Peerless for so long is that didn't know anything about them, and they were nearing that $100 mark, right?
Price point.
Yeah, the price point. And I think that's what I hear from other people too, that, this is something, well, there's a reason why they're there, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to see that now. So, Peerless, I'm more than happy to and open to looking into that.
Yeah, that's one we can definitely add to our list. And that's a good point. And thanks, Rob, for that idea. Yep. So there's 2 things I'll say. Number one, Peerless was a brand. I'm right there with you. When I first started trying it a couple of years ago, I was like, gosh, at the price point, I don't know if it's really worth it. Then I went to the distillery, had some distillery only picks, and I fell in love with Peerless.
Yep.
So number 2, Gene, you're going to be leaving tonight with some Peerless single barrel store pick sample bottles. I'll give you some sample bottles because I want you to try more Peerless because that's how much I love Peerless.
Okay, I'm glad I came.
We're gonna pour those tonight.
More reasons than one. Yes. I'm glad I came.
Make sure you get those that we can bring them home and Try them at your own leisure. Is that cool?
Who was that recommended Peerless?
That was Rob Sullivan.
Rob, thank you very much.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Rob. We appreciate you, man. Thank you. And Rod Edwards says, yeah, oh, Ron, that would be nice. A Peerless rye pick, or even a Peerless, gosh, can you imagine a Peerless double oak rye? Oh, man, that would be nice. As a pick, as a
that would be
single barrel pick,
yeah,
man,
for sure.
That would be amazing. Sure. But even their ryes are even fantastic too.
Listen, I'm psyched at this point to go ahead and look into that.
Yeah,
that would be wonderful.
All right, so we have our work ahead of us. So
nothing wrong with different as long as it's good.
As long as it's good. So we'll make sure you get a couple of different samples. One of those is up there, but that's just a rum finish from Peerless. But I want to get you some of the single barrels that they've done at their distillery that I just speechless. Their whiskey is good, so we're gonna have to get you some of those.
I think somebody mentioned the Old Forester single barrel strength.
Oh yeah.
I think I have probably 3 or 4 bottles at home, unopened, 2 open. And what I love about them is that they've got a little bit of a bite to them, but the flavor is just. I mean, every time I go to it, it just gives me such a pleasure, a smile on my face. Actually,
I hear you. I do, Gene. I definitely do. Kyle asked, and Kyle, honestly, I don't know. This is one where, even though I know a good bit about whiskey, not everything, but this, I'm not sure if they do single barrel picks. John J. Bowman. I don't know if
I haven't seen one, but man, would that be one?
That would be really nice.
That would be a get.
That would be pretty cool, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've never seen it before, but that's not to say, Kyle, that it doesn't exist, right? I mean,
John J. Bowman cast strength.
Oh gosh, stop it. What was that saying? You had that hello? Like, wow, how did all the bottles go to Gene and Marcus only? No one else got a bottle.
Right. That's right. Yep. That would be great.
That would be really good. That would be good. And Tennis Gator, I did see that you got a couple bottles of the Penelope earlier as well. So thanks, Tennis Gator. We appreciate you, my man. Thank you so much. What else do we have here? I think someone mentioned, this is a pretty good one too. I saw it earlier. Sagamore. So Sagamore, they do barrel picks. They definitely do. I'm actually doing a barrel pick. Not this. So Sagamore, they do allow barrel picks. I actually do have one coming up. If not, it's supposed to be scheduled for next week. We're just trying to figure out schedules. If not next week, the week after. That's a joint pick between myself and Stuff and Whiskey. But we'll definitely, that's one that you and I should look into down the road also.
Sagamore is easy. It's right down the road.
Yeah.
They're an hour away, and what great things they're doing. They're known for rye.
They are.
Baltimore is known for rye. They have
sure
a history, of rye whiskey, but without question, they do other bourbons as well. But we'll look at it. We'll look at all the options. Sure.
Sagamore is definitely a good one. But yeah, that one, I have one coming up next week with Stuff and Whiskey, my YouTube whiskey friends, and but that's one definitely for DBS and myself to look into. So great point, Kyle. I appreciate that. That was a great idea. What else do we have here? I'm trying to look at other different comments. I think I saw one from Rob Sullivan said, let's see, what was it? Rob, you mentioned, I think it was Barrel Bourbon. I believe I saw that earlier.
Barrel Bourbon, I was going to say something about that earlier. The nice thing about the Barrel Bourbon, I felt the same way about Barrel Bourbon as I did Peerless. They're right around that same price point.
Yep, that's so true.
I had never tried it before, maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Correct.
And the whole reason for me holding it off again was it was something I saw all these barrel. I had no idea.
Correct.
They are what they are. But if you put your put your nose on anything like the 34,
batch 34,
batch 34, batch 35 now.
That batch 35 is,
oh my god,
that batch 35. So I'm going to say something, and this might come out the wrong way, right? Batch 35, in my opinion, this is just for me, right? The bourbon judge. I'm nobody, but this is just my opinion. I think batch 35, if you poured it into another bottle from another big brand that everyone loves, like a sexy E.H. Taylor brand, or a Buffalo Trace brand, or a Heaven Hill brand, it would sell for $150 all day long.
It would demand a higher price.
Way higher price. It's just that good. And that was Nate Hicks, by the way. That was not Ron Edwards that mentioned the barrel bourbon. So yeah, Nate, that's a great point. Barrel bourbon would be a good one for the DBS and the judge community. That's
no
a good one for sure.
We were doing it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's a good one. So that's another one we have to add to the list. All right, so you and I need to sit down one day. We'll have to drink some whiskey, and we'll have to, of course,
right,
and fully vet out like the top 2 or 3 barrel picks that we want next for the joint DBS Bourbon Judge family?
Well, we've gotten a bunch of ideas here. What I'd like to do is to maybe take those ideas, throw those into a hat.
Okay.
Right. And I'd like to produce some sort of a prize for the top 3 winners. Of the ones that we feel that we're going to move forward to.
Okay, I like that. All right. So I love it. Gene, you know me. I'm game. I'm game. So we have obviously all the comments from everyone here. So we will definitely circle back. We'll find whichever one we think works well, and whichever one works well, and we look back at the episode, we'll say, okay, X, Y, and Z, you win an award.
Listen, don't hold the judge to that. I'm here on the judge's channel offering up different raffles and things like that. But hold me to that. I really feel as though when you get the word from the community, when the community speaks, we should listen.
That's true. I would agree. What people want.
It's what they want.
So
let's make sure we get that.
So true. Couple more, because I know this is a work night, so I won't be respectful of Gene's time. But a couple more. So this is a fun one. So Eric, who's a patron also, Eric down in South Carolina, our good friend, he said Blue Note picks are great as well. That's a good one too. You know the Blue Note.
I can't disagree. I can't disagree. No question about it. Yeah, and you're bringing down the price point a bit, but that which is good.
It makes it affordable.
Yeah, absolutely, that's always nice.
Gotta love that.
And it's good whiskey.
It's really good whiskey. Ron brings up another good one. See, Ron, you're just throwing out. Ron is like throwing out like home runs, like left and right. Like he's throwing out like like he's a professional baseball player here. Oops, the wrong one. So Ron said, which was that? I just saw it earlier. Give me 2 seconds. There it is. So Ron said High West. High West Distillery. That's an interesting one.
I've never heard that one, but that is super interesting.
Right?
No
I've never heard. Yeah, I mean, I know that they do some single barrels, but not a lot of them. I've only seen a few, and mostly store picks.
And I'm thinking, and I can't really recall any that I've seen. Right? I'm sure they have a pick program, a barrel program.
Yeah, they have a barrel program, but I've only actually seen like 1 or 2. One in Delaware, and one, oh gosh, where was I? Somewhere out west. So it was probably out west somewhere. But I've only
and that's
seen
why
2.
you ask, and you get answers such as that. I mean, that's
good point, Ron.
I've never thought about, and I don't believe I would have thought about.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
That's something to look into.
So true. That's another brand where you want to talk about going back. I think it's pretty clear if you've ever watched any of my earlier content. I was never a big fan of Yippee-Ki-Yay. I've gotten past that.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I've gotten past that.
Right.
I'm more like now the open, more friendly judge. So I do actually now appreciate High West products. Other than, of course, I've always loved a Midwinter's Night Stram, obviously.
Yep.
But yes,
the acts, all the scenes.
Yes, all the acts and all the scenes, Gene. I love it. I love it. All right. Let's see if we got one more. Anything else? Ooh, this is a good ender right here. I love it. I love it. This is a brand that not a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people know about this brand, but they definitely create some fantastic, well, they're sourcing, but still making, blending whatever, and doing some great barrels, Obtainium.
And I know you can speak on it. I haven't had Obtainium yet.
Woo, fire. Do I have I think I have it. I have it somewhere in here. It's on this shelf somewhere. I just don't know exactly where. That's another sample you're gonna have to leave home, leave the judge home, and bring it to your house.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
Obtainium I've heard a lot about.
Yeah.
And for some reason haven't come across. And if I came across it, I think there's no question I'd purchase the bottles. To see if that match my palate.
Okay.
I do want to add though that we were talking about craft distillers and blenders and the like, and the thing about it is that I like there's a couple different ones that I like that I'm trying and working out now. A lot of people see me post them in the Delaware Bourbon Society.
Okay.
It's Barrel King.
Oh, Barrel King, yes.
Right.
Barrel King's getting a lot of a ton of, just favorable, commentary out there in the whiskey world about Barrel King.
In fact, they just won some gold. I believe they won potentially won platinum, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
And this is a blender that's been around, I think, less than 2 years.
Yeah.
So they're brand new to the game and just really making waves.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of there was a second one as well that escapes me right now. But Barrel King, it's nowhere close. You won't find it in any of the stores. I believe for the most part we'd have to get that online.
Correct.
And
Correct.
You can, and they do ship to Delaware.
They do.
When I talk about shipping to Delaware, I always do mention too, and I have to say this. I am very, very into making sure that our local retailers are well taken care of. Right?
Agreed.
There's certain things that they can't provide for you. They can't provide these
Certain
two
brands.
picks for you. They can't they can't provide Barrel King and the like. But when it comes down to the standard brands and the things that they're getting, their and they're on their shelves, please make sure you go out and certainly go to the local.
Agreed. Absolutely. Always want to support your local retailers. I mean, I do love everything online as well, but you're right. And like, certain single barrel picks always typically for the most part have to be online. Obviously some stores do single barrels as well, of course, obviously. But you're right. It's always nice, to give to your local community and support your local community as well. A lot of the people, managers and owners of our local stores, we see them out and about, right? I mean, they are truly a part of our community, right? Part of our friend group and, and so forth. So definitely always good to support.
What I love about that too is that there's a kind of a relationship between the two, the groups, and you'll see, I won't go through names, but you'll see certain retailers that are in the groups. If you see them in the groups and they're talking and they're giving you information, they are highly into bourbon and whiskey as a whole, and into us really, and what we're looking for. So true. I like to give back to them.
Totally agree. And that goes for not just in Delaware too, but any state that you live in, right? I mean, no matter if you live in Delaware, Texas, South Carolina, Georgia,
wherever you are,
no matter where you are, always definitely try to shop local first. And then if you can't get it local, obviously, of course, online, various different groups like Delaware Bourbon Society or the Bourbon Judge, when we're doing, wonderful, single barrel picks, that's a really good, complimentary kind of approach to it, if you will. That's a good point, Gene. I love that. Gene's the man. I love it. So I have this guy here. I love it. So BB Tom said, what about Rye 3? That's a brand I've never had. I haven't
had it and I've seen it. I know it. You're right.
Never had it before, right?
No.
All right. So that's one we got to add to the list. That's a potential, BB Tom. I like that. Thank you, sir. Definitely do appreciate that one. Saw some other really good ones here as well. Let's see. So this is part of Obtainium. They are under the same, I believe they are at least under the same family, if you will, the Nassif family reserve picks. So corn and whiskey, great point, right? But I think that's under the same Obtainium kind of arm or branch, if you will, kind of from a sub brand standpoint. But that's a good point as well. So definitely a lot of really good brands out there. I'm seeing what else we have here. Cam and Whiskey said what you mentioned earlier, Barrel King. Yep. So Barrel King seems to be really liked by a lot of people. That's an interesting one. Okay. What else do we have here? A lot of good commentary. We have Andrew Coleman. Ooh, Traverse City.
I was before I came here, probably a couple hours before I came here.
Okay.
I was on the Travis barrel. What is it? Is it
Traverse City?
Yeah.
They
Traverse City.
Yeah, they pronounce it. I learned this because I remember when I first did the episode. This is how people, in the whiskey world, they keep you honest. It's
a silent S.
It's a silent S. Yeah. Okay, so they pronounce it Traver.
Yep.
Like Traver. I remember that. I'll never forget someone sent me a comment or dropped a comment. They're like, Judge, just so you know, it's not like the car. It's not like the Chevy Traverse. It's Traverse City. I was educated, but see, I retained it. Better than when Mrs. Judge gives me feedback. I actually listened.
Their barrel pick. I was drinking the barrel pick today, and I hadn't had it for a while, and it blew me away.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Okay. Their barrel pick is very, very good. And then also I purchased the rye a while back, and I've had that a couple of times, and it is excellent as well.
Really? The rye is
also?
Yeah, I remember the rye. Yes, you're right about that.
Yeah, I agree. George Remus, Kennard is talking about it.
Yeah, thanks, Kennard, by the way. That's a great recommendation as well. George Remus, they have obviously a ton of whiskey out there with the MGP.
And they do have a program.
And they do have a program as well. So that's a good one. Wow, we have a lot of really great ideas. All right, Gene, I know I've kept you long enough. This has been a blast. Just want to say thank you for two things. Number one, thank you for everyone who joined tonight, our live stream. It's kind of a quick last-second live stream, our barrel pick, our joint barrel pick between the Delaware Bourbon Society, as well as with the Bourbon Judge. This has been one where, like I said, the barrels were lost. Then they were found. We had to. It was like a mission impossible kind of, to find these barrels.
Well, you tracked them down. That's for sure. That's great.
We found them. So our great partner over at SharePour, very thankful to the SharePour. Gene, I'm thankful, honestly, man, for your friendship and your partnership, man. This has been fun, sir. This is always a pleasure.
This has been an absolute blast.
Always.
I will tell you, I don't take these moments for granted, for sure. This is something that'll last with me for a very long time.
Indeed.
If you if you have only met the judge through your screen, I believe me, if in fact you were to meet Judge in person, he is the same guy in person as you see on the screen. And if you're anticipating an outstanding individual, that's what you're going to get no matter where you meet him. So if you get an opportunity to come on out to some of the tastings that you host and things of that nature, you'll meet a friend and you'll have a friend for life.
I appreciate that.
He's
Gene.
outstanding.
Very nice. I appreciate that, sir. And likewise to you as well, man. You're such a great gentleman. I really honestly appreciate all that you do, not only for my group, but for the Delaware Bourbon Society as well, which I love being a member of Delaware Bourbon Society. It's such a great forum, great group of people. We are almost 850 people, right?
Yeah, right? We're very, very close.
Close.
Hopefully we can get it there.
Yeah.
I just want to also, if I can, I just want to
please
take a minute to thank each and every one of the members of the Delaware Bourbon Society.
Absolutely.
Without you guys, this is not possible. This is such a fun thing for me. I think that we keep bringing and infusing the group with information and sources and things of that nature, bringing you people very much like the Bourbon Judge here to kind of give you information that is helpful and the news that you can use. So if in fact you see that this is something that you like, bring some friends in, have them know where they can come in. It's a safe haven. We have a tremendous amount of fun. We feel as though we stand outside of maybe the norm in some cases, and we just love to have folks coming in and enjoying the brown water and the whiskey that we all love. So come on in and join us, and we'd love to have you.
Indeed. One thing I would say about the Delaware Bourbon Society, it's one of the best groups because it's all about positive whiskey experiences. And I'm going to repeat that, right? Because I think that's really important, especially in this day and age where everything with social media, people are quick to downtown someone, right? In the Delaware Bourbon Society, it's all about positive whiskey experiences.
100%.
Connecting with people, sipping great whiskey, sharing great ideas, and helping each other out. And I love the fact that you embody that, you embrace that. Gene, I know, is very much mindful of making sure that the group is ran in a positive manner so that there's no belittling people. There's no, people just coming on just to try to, sell X, Y, and Z service, like, auto repair or anything else that's out there. You are making sure that it is positive whiskey dialogue 24/7. So thank you for running and maintaining such a great, in my opinion, the best online whiskey community out there, from a social media standpoint.
Well, what makes us who we are our members.
Absolutely. Indeed.
100%.
Love it. All right, Gene. Well, we got to cheers to this celebration. So another pick in the book. And now we have to on to pick number 2 for the Delaware Bourbon Society and the Bourbon Judge. Cheers. Cheers, sir. Cheers, everybody. Take care.